Oh, no, it is on. Are we live? Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Montreal in Real Life. I'm Montreal in real life. And today I'm going to do a little follow-up to the last video I posted about overview of narcissistic personality disorder. I kind of want to clarify that point about someone being more of a jerk versus being a narcissistic abuser. And I'm going to be referencing this book called High Conflict People in Legal Disputes by Bill Eddy. I had to read it when I was in law school, and I recommend it to everyone, even if you're not thinking about going into law. The book does reference like case scenarios, but they're still very helpful tips for anyone who's curious about other types of high conflict personalities, such as antisocial disorder, histrionic personalities. There's a bunch in here that you can learn about and also learn how to kind of just resolve conflict and be a dispute resoluter. And basically, yeah, okay, that's my introduction. Let's get into it. So, HCP I'm going to be using to refer to high conflict personality, which is the jerky type of NPD, which I'm referring to narcissistic personality by. And the more extreme version of all these traits is the NA, the narcissistic abuse or abuser. So, the kind of basic traits of a high conflict personality in general are that someone is maladaptive, they probably lack empathy or conscious control of their behaviors and awareness of how their behaviors affect those around them. They have all or nothing thinking, my way or the highway, my way or the highway. Oh wait, that's not a real song. Wait, what song is that? Anyways, unmanaged emotions and extremes of behaviors. This is something that you can spot, kind of like a red flag, if you will, are the extreme behaviors and extreme words / train of thought, right? You can kind of tell when someone is not really thinking like a rational person. And in law, we use the RPP as a reference. We use this to kind of argue that someone's behavior was extreme or irrational. And RPP stands for the reasonably prudent person. What would the RPP do in this situation? And you don't have to be a lawyer to ask that question. If you're experiencing someone who is acting kind of like overreacting to a situation or just kind of making you uncomfortable, ask yourself, is this something the RPP would do? Is this what the majority of the population would do in this situation, how they would react? Or is this person being extra about it? Yeah, so that's kind of like the reference point that you can use is either yourself or just the average person. And yeah, I mean, people don't want to compare people to each other, but in this case, just go for it. Are they acting like how anyone else would act in this situation, or are they being extreme? So yeah, and moving forth into the NPD as being a high conflict personality, the jerk, versus being the narcissistic abuser, it's really about trait versus state, okay? Does this person have traits of NPD that they're kind of able to turn on and off, or that arise in high stress situations? Or are they kind of always constantly like this in this kind of extremes of behavior? So if they're able to kind of turn it on and off, then they're just a jerk. Not saying just as if their behavior isn't harmful. These people can still have very harmful and dangerous behaviors to themselves or others. I'm thinking particularly of like Scott Disick when I think of someone who has NPD.
Whether it's Sir Disick, Lord Disick, Count Disick, becoming royal is really gonna get the respect that I deserve. Like, I don't need to be walking around like I'm some peasant. I need to be walking around like royalty.
Scott Disick is rude and a jerk, and he did cause pain to Courtney, like in their relationship, but he also had the ability to self-reflect, take himself to rehab. He made that decision, and he never really acted in any type of way around his kids. You know, he acknowledged all the time his behavior was destructive and made attempts to kind of correct it on his own accord. And that's kind of like the jerk personality, like, you know, just kind of thinking they're this and that, can kind of do whatever. And, you know, it is destructive. At the same time, he was able to kind of turn it on and off and really just acknowledge and take care of it when it came down to it. But the difference is that it's not consistent. It's only in situations of duress, like they miss their flight at the airport, so they start going off, you know, or someone in their family has just passed, they're feeling all types of way. An NPD who is an abuser may use these same reasons to justify their behavior, but at the end of the day, it's an excuse, because you can notice that they're always like this. They're always seeming to be in a state of conflict. Like every month is something new, whether they had a disagreement with their mom that left them sour, they didn't turn in an assignment on time, they had an argument with their best friend. It's like every month or every week there's some kind of new conflict in this person's life that they are using to justify their behavior. And you have to catch on to that. And I think that one is one of those red flags that you can kind of see manifest, is like, wow, this person always seems to be having some kind of issue, and they have a hard time dealing with this issue. They don't seem to be able to manage these kind of issues. Not only are they not managing them like the RPP would, but they just kind of shut down and don't manage them at all. They don't like know how to resolve it or how to act, and then it just kind of escalates into these behaviors that are consistent with NPD, but on the more extreme and affecting you now. So just to reiterate, they don't have a sense of empathy, not only like for other people, but it also kind of makes it hard for them to be able to express their emotions. They'll often try and like make something else the target of blame, or even you. Target their intimate others, so people they're in a relationship with, people who are their family members, maybe even their best friends, you know, people who are really close to them, which, you know, seems kind of backwards. I mean, everything they do is backwards and bizarre. I'm gonna say that in every video. This shit is bizarre. But yeah, they target people who are like closest to them and make them to blame for their behaviors a lot of the time. If you're in this kind of relationship, you'll notice, like, even when you kind of speak out and say that, you know, I don't like the way you're treating me, they turn it around back on you. Well, I wouldn't treat you like this if you didn't talk to me like that. And they're not like people who can express themselves very well emotionally. They're gonna be non-specific about what you're doing to harm them. They're not gonna be able to like really elaborate on the situation. They're the type that are gonna be like in a breakup, like, oh, they were crazy, but they can't really tell you what happened, you know. You ask them, okay, well, what did they do? Why were they crazy? And they just kind of be like, okay. So they're not really able to articulate things that involve feelings. And yeah, even in Bill Eddy's book, which was like designed for lawyers and people who are mediators, the tip that he gives is like, listen to yourself. Listen to how you feel. Like, is this person making you feel weird? Then they're probably being weird. Even in situations where the feelings are more positive, like excitement, like, is this person making you like really excited, like overly excited? Kind of double check that. Like, why am I so damn excited about this person? Like, what are they doing right now? And yeah, just kind of like be aware and think about that. And I'm gonna post more videos about red flags and tuning into your intuition, but this is kind of just the follow-up to how to differentiate between someone who can go in and out of these traits, you know, who's actually exhibiting these traits in actual times of conflict versus someone who is exhibiting these traits all the time and, you know, causing a cycle of abuse.
Wanna be a baller, shot caller, 20